Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to get started on the carnivore diet. It seems like kind of an obvious topic, and I certainly have many carnivore videos out there, but somebody asked me in an email the other day, they said, yes, but how do I actually start? And when I think back to when I first started, there's a few key things. Today I'm going to give you 5 key things that I think will help you if you are trying to figure out just how to start. Maybe you're coming directly from the standard American diet. Maybe you've never heard of carnivore, or maybe you've been kind of playing around and you just want to know, okay, what should I do? I just want to dive in. I'm ready to dive in. So, as many of you know, I have lost 145 pounds. I kind of started low carb and evolved into, keto, and gradually evolved into where I am now, which is, basically 99% meat. I do some spices. I still drink coffee. There's a few things like that. But basically, I'm following the carnivore diet. And I'm going to give you a few things that I think will help. And so let's just get started with that. The first thing, number 1, make a list of your favorite carnivore foods and take that to the store. It can be any type of meat. Carnivore is meat. So we're talking, hamburgers, steaks. We're talking eggs, bacon, some cheese, if you're okay with dairy. Not everybody is. Anything, roasts, steaks, stew, whether it's beef, poultry, fish, pork, any type of animal meat, that is basically what carnivore is. So what you need to do is focus for these first 30 days on your very favorite meats to help you get through the first little while. When you bring those foods home from the grocery store, there's another piece to this that many people forget, and I'm pretty sure this has derailed more starts than anything else. Get rid of everything else. Get rid of all of the items that you've been living on, all the processed foods, all the carbs. Don't have all those condiments that are full of seed oils. Get rid of all of that stuff, and we're just going to focus on meat. Just the meat, your favorite ones, whatever those are. Don't worry if it's grass-fed, grass-finished, organic. Don't worry about any of that. Just go to the store, buy your favorite meats, clear out your pantry, donate it, give it away, put it in the garbage. Don't think about, well, I might need that someday. Don't think about, well, what if, the kids come, or what if this happens or that happens. Just don't go there, because what's going to happen is a week from now, you're going to be feeling pretty crappy. You're going to be detoxing, and the keto chocolate chips are going to call your name. Been there, done that. Don't do it. If you want to make something down the road that is sugar-free for relatives that are coming or anybody else, you'll be in a much better space in 30, 60, 90 days. You'll be able to handle it then. You can always go get something. But for right now, get rid of it all. Trust me on that one. That is point number 1. Before I move on to point number 2, because we were just talking about how crappy you're going to feel, I want to tell you who is sponsoring today's video. So today's sponsor is Element. What is Element? It's an electrolyte drink. When you go from a standard American diet to any type of low carb diet, you're going to be detoxing, you're going to lose some hydration. When you stop having carbohydrates, you're going to lose inflammation and fluids and everything else. If you don't eat processed foods, you're not going to be getting the sodium you need. You're just going to be feeling like crap, this is really going to help you feel so much better. So what is in Element has a science-backed formula of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I like to have a packet in a giant glass of water or a giant thing of water, 16 to 20 ounces. Because this video is about beginners and cleaning up, I highly suggest the raw, unflavored for your detox period. And there's a good reason for that. Element does have many great flavors. Later on, we're going to talk about this being an elimination diet. You can bring back those types of things into your particular program. For the first, I would say 30, 60 days, stick with the raw, unflavored. It has only those electrolytes. There's no flavors, there's no stevia, there's nothing like that. For this detox period, I'm just suggesting to go with the unflavored. I like them with a wedge of lemon. Put a wedge of lemon in your drink with the stick of the raw flavored, and you'll be good to go. So right now, Element is offering to my viewers this 8 flavor sample pack. It does contain 8 delicious flavors. You can share these with a family member or a friend, or decide later if you want to try which flavors are your favorite. You can get that with any purchase. You can go to the website, which is drinkelement.com/ketogenic woman. That's DRINKLMNT.com/ketogenic woman. That is going to be on the screen and down below. I want to thank Element for sponsoring today's video, because your support of my sponsor makes these types of informational videos, as well as my cooking videos, makes it possible to do these things. So thank you very much. Now we're going to talk about the second point. And I kind of alluded to it in the first point when I said, don't worry about, whether the meat is grass-fed or whether it's this or that, wild-caught, all those things. Yeah, it's great. If you can afford those, that is great. But point 2 is to buy the meats that you can afford. And there are many good affordable meats for carnivore. I don't think I bought anything grass-fed or organic for the first couple of years, partly because of where I'm located here in Canada. Grass-fed, grass-finished meat. I mean, you could go into the meat department of any store. You probably won't find anything that's grass-fed or grass-finished. And if you did, you would find maybe one steak that costs, $40 for a little steak or something. Like it just isn't a thing. And so, you're much better off to maybe go to a farmer or something like that and strike a deal there if you've got a freezer. But I did all just conventionally purchased meats. It is not going to affect weight loss at all. If that's why you're here, it's really going to be, put it into perspective. 10, 12 years ago, I was a person that ate chocolate bars and chips and all those other things. To fuss about whether the meat is grass-fed or conventional just isn't. It's just not something I'm going to do. And I recommend that you buy the meat that you can afford. It's going to be miles and away better than whatever it was you were eating that came in a box or came from a fast food restaurant. So some good examples that I have here. Ground beef is a good example. Bacon. This is a pound of bacon. Bacon goes on sale, and different varieties at my grocery store. It goes on sale all the time. I paid $3.50 for this pound of bacon. And so when you see something like that, you can stock up and freeze these. Eggs are a very low-cost protein. You can certainly do that. So other low-cost meat would be things like chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks. There's nothing wrong with that. And you can also do roasts. Roasts are often on sale. If you have trouble with making them tender and juicy, a slow cooker or low and slow in the oven, you don't even need a special appliance. I have so many videos on cooking low and slow. Things like briskets are $3-4 a pound sometimes here. Chuck roast, blade roast is what that's called here in Canada, but chuck roast to those of you in the US. There are so many low-cost meats that you can buy. You can cook them low and slow. They're absolutely delicious. They are going to provide you exactly the nutrition that you need. And on the other hand, if you can afford the ribeye steaks and New York strips, all those types of things, go for it. It's whatever your favorite meats that you can afford. You can stay on a budget with Carnivore as well, because you're not buying all the other, you're not buying all the expensive powders and ingredients and different things like that. You're not buying, those, I used to buy those big organic spring mix veggies. A week later, I would look at it and it would be slimy and out it went. I can't tell you how much waste there was in my own refrigerator from all of these things. The meat doesn't go bad. If it starts to, like if I have had a meat in the fridge for too long, I either freeze it or I put it in my dehydrator, I make chips. I mean, there's so many things. It just never goes bad. I never get, bored and sick of it. So just to recap the budget-friendly meats, we have ground beef, eggs, bacon. Oh, I want to mention canned fish. So I go through a lot of canned fish, something like this. This is wild sockeye salmon. I pay between $4 and $5 a can for this. This is 8 ounces of meat, 52 grams of protein, a ribeye steak. I looked on my phone at the Flip app to see what the cheapest ribeye steak in my area was today, and it's $19.99 a pound. So that's $10 for half a pound. This is between $4 and $5 for half a pound. So, it's a good deal when you think in terms of nutrition. And I love a can of salmon with a little bit of mayonnaise as a lunch. It really fills me up, and it provides those omega-3s too that I love. So, there's a lot of things you can do to keep the budget low. Point number 3. Keep it simple and keep it fast. Stay away, and I have recipes on my channel. I have lots of recipes. Some of them are a little bit involved with steps and things. Stay away from those right now in your first 30 to 60 days of doing this. Keep it fast, keep it simple. Have something like this in the fridge. These are burger patties. This particular bag is from Costco. These happen to be grass-fed, but these are still cheaper than, like way cheaper than, say, getting a ribeye steak or a New York strip or anything like that. And this, when I bought these, this price was even cheaper than conventional lean ground beef that they happen to have in the store at the same time. With something like this, you can pop these out. They're very easy to just take out of the bag. Put 3 or 4 of them either in your air fryer or in a frying pan or on a baking sheet in your oven, and 10 minutes later you have got dinner, and that is really all you need. You could just eat burgers. You can make chicken wings if you have an air fryer. You can make those pretty fast. Do a little bit of prep cooking. What I like to do is I like to cook a whole brisket, and I have probably 3 or 4 videos on different ways you can cook a brisket depending on the size of it. That will last me all week for meals. You can do all kinds of things with leftover brisket, and it's cheap. Brisket is one of the cheaper meats out there. I just love it. Again, bacon and eggs. That is super fast. You can, throw some of the bacon in a frying pan, throw a few eggs in. 5 minutes later, you're eating breakfast. And don't get caught up in the whole, what's for breakfast, what's for dinner, what's for lunch. They're all interchangeable. You can have bacon and eggs for dinner just as easily as you can have it for breakfast. It doesn't really matter. So keep it simple and fast. Consider thinking about carnivore as an elimination diet. So one of the things that I struggled with in the beginning, and I know that many people do because I hear from them all the time, is that idea of forever. So on day one of following a carnivore diet, you can't help but think, wow, am I going to live my entire life without ever having, food XYZ again? You might, or you might not. So if you think of this as an elimination diet, and carnivore is in fact the ultimate elimination diet, especially if you do it the way I'm suggesting, where the first 30 to 60, 90 days, you just keep it clean, simple, straight, fast, just eat meat. If you do it that way, 30 to 60 days later, that time is going to come around, and you might start thinking about seeing if you can tolerate this food or that food. And there is nothing wrong with that. Many people do that. Some people like to bring in, maybe some onions so they can have fried onions with their steak, or fried mushrooms, or anything like that. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that everyone needs to just eat only meat for the rest of their lives. Some people do, and some people have to because they have maybe some autoimmune diseases, or they have different illnesses. Some people just feel so good on meat alone that they're like, well, why bother adding any of those other, foods? They just don't want to do it. So you have no idea how you're going to feel in 30 to 60 days. Like, I still can't believe that I've gone this long with focusing on meat. I mean, there's been the odd time when I've had something. I happen to like asparagus. So if asparagus finds its way on my plate because we're out at a restaurant or a family meal or whatever, I don't fight it. I eat a couple of spears. I love it. But it doesn't bother me, and I know that because I did the elimination. So I know which items bother me. I know that I cannot have black pepper. When I have black pepper on something, I feel it. I get the heartburn. This is what you have to do. You have to, as you introduce your foods back, take note of what bothers you, what the symptoms are, how long after you ate, that sort of thing. That's why it's important to bring back only one food at a time so that you can see how your body handles it. And there may be foods that you can have back that you'll be just fine with. That's part of this process. So instead of thinking, oh, it's going to be forever, I'm never going to be able to have this or that again, just think of it, well, maybe someday I will. And then it doesn't seem so overwhelming, especially in the beginning. Number 5, we are at number 5. I would encourage you to do 5 things a day to support what you're doing. It is really hard to say, okay, I'm going to go 30 days or I'm going to go 60 days. I'm only going to eat meat, not going to do that. I'm not going to have any, no ultra processed foods, no sugar-free chewing gum or sugar-free sodas, none of that stuff. I'm going to do this perfectly. You're going to need support to do it like that. So there's a saying, you've probably heard this before, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around most. Well, that saying also applies to what you allow into your mind, your listening, your reading. I would encourage you to get some books. Go to the library, get some books on carnivore. They actually are out there now, or order them from Amazon if you're able to do that. I have some books below that I will list that I recommend. I'll just say a couple of them. Like Sean Baker's book, his was like the first book that came out that I read, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, this all makes sense to me. There's books like Sally Norton's books on oxalates. These are the toxins that are in many of the vegetables that we think are healthy. So that's a good one. I will list a few below that I recommend. So reading even a couple of chapters a day, go onto YouTube, start listening to some YouTube videos, different people, Sean Baker, Dr. Barry, Kelly Hogan. There's a lot of them, and many of them are so good. I really enjoy them. Maybe watch 3 or 4 videos a day. Just immerse yourself in what they're saying, you know, the thinking, look into the research. There's some really good some of the videos provide studies. Nick Norowitz, look at him. Dr. Boz, Dr. Fung. I have many favorites. So if you, just check out a few of them. Interact with other people online or in person. If you can do it in person, that is always the best. Look up and see if there's meetups in your area. Meetups are fantastic. I highly recommend them. If you can meet with people online, join Zoom meetings. There's a lot of resources out there for carnivores. If you look, you don't have to be isolated. At the very least, join some of the Facebook groups. And, some of them are negative. Some of them are very positive. So you might have to try out a few. You can leave the ones that don't suit you. But try to make friends out there who are doing the same thing and walking the same walk as you. And that will make it easier. So to summarize everything, the 5 points are: figure out what foods you like the best, get out there, buy them, and put them in your fridge instead of all the bad stuff. Get rid of all the bad stuff. Keep on a budget. I know budget is very important these days. So, buy the foods you can afford. Do not worry about all the things. So it has to be this, it has to be that. No, it doesn't. Keep it simple and fast. Don't try to make any of the complicated recipes until you have this all under your belt and you're feeling very comfortable with just eating the meat. Consider this as an elimination diet. You're not giving up everything forever. You're giving up things just for now. You will make it through, and then we can see what you can add back. You can do that one at a time. Do it slowly, and immerse yourself in the culture. Read the books, watch the videos, meet the people, and I have no doubt that in a few months, you're going to be messaging me and saying, yes, you were right. I feel fantastic. Thank you so much. I really want that for you. It's never too late. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how sick you are. It is never too late to change. I know you can do it. Please leave comments below and ask questions. I do try to answer all the questions that I can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.